Hey, we're Jess
and Erin,
just two normal moms and saved women who love Jesus, deep conversations, and a good laugh.
On Well Within Her, we talk about the hard, the holy, and the hilarious parts of being a woman in today's world.
This is just your space to exhale, to stop striving and start living aligned with the truth.
Because the truth is, when Christ is within her, she already has everything she needs.
We're so glad you're here. Hit subscribe and come hang out with us every week.
Welcome, everyone, to Well Within Her podcast. We are super excited to talk today, and I would say this is an episode that's probably near and dear to your heart. And I'll have snippets to talk about, but this is, I feel like, something is like I would say your bread and butter. So today we are going to be talking about nourishing your body without shame. I think as women, as culture, as mothers, this is a whole can of worms that I feel like we're probably going to double, triple, quadruple down onto throughout this podcast. This is probably just a little morsel, little taste.
I think the whole topic's an onion, and you just keep peeling back layers and layers, and you're like, oh, there's still more under there. You know, there's so much to talk about when it comes to body image and, you know, how you see yourself, your value, your worth. And it really is something that I've worked on with women for over 5 years now, specifically just as a women's health dietitian. A lot of experience with different views, all kinds of different things. So I do have to keep my phone here to make sure that my sitter is okay. So
sitter being her husband,
my husband
that has all the children right now.
Yes.
And mine could be tipping into the toe of feralness depending on the activities of the day. So
they're out in the woods and they're fine.
They could be living their best lives,
really
which
could be going. It's probably what's happening.
It's probably what's happening. So I would actually would be.
But
more
you know, as a mom, you still check and you're just like, I just want to make sure it's okay.
Make sure everyone's
We're gonna
okay.
record.
So today, our scripture anchor is 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. It says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies."
Ooh, I know.
That's a heavy one.
I think that's the first scripture that comes to mind all the time when you talk about body image.
Bodies are temple.
And, you know, body is a temple. It's like, what does that even mean?
What does that mean? Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people have different thoughts as to like what that means when it comes to applying it to like this particular area. But something that I worry about with that is that it's a shame inducer. And so I just don't want it to be a shame inducer for anybody. I don't want someone to think the way that they're treating their body that God's mad at them. Because I think that it's very nuanced, and I have worked with people of all different kinds who have all different sort of histories, and I understand where a lot of different people are coming from. So that's like my first and foremost thing is I'm always just like, wherever you're at right now, it's just where you're at, and it's okay. If you've not taken care of yourself for years, it's okay. You are where you are, and that's just the starting point, and that's fine. And so, because this is just such a wide range of people could be somewhere on this continuum, it is kind of hard to just talk about, but we're going to try see what we come up with.
See what we come up with, and kind of like, I would say, like blanket statements.
Yeah.
Like you said, because it is a continuum. It's a very broad spectrum. And what does that mean to you in this current juncture? That does not mean it's what you have thought of yourself previously. It doesn't mean what you're going to think about yourself in the future. It's where you are right now, knowing and understanding that could be very different for every person involved.
Right. I think we just want to start off with talking a little bit about our histories with how we've viewed our bodies, our body image. And I touched on it a little bit, describing like how I even got into nutrition was like one of the things I just was desperate to understand what food did in my body. And growing up, the time period where we did grow up, it was very easy to be really hard on yourself and just think you were never enough, and that if only, I'll just be very blunt, if only I was skinnier, then my life would be even better. I don't even know what was wrong with my life. I can't even say that there was something wrong. It just felt like, oh, I'm supposed to want this. I'm supposed to be striving for this for some reason.
I'm supposed to be this size. I'm supposed to look like this. I'm supposed to weigh this.
Well, and then come college, where I did gain weight freshman year.
As we all did.
Most people do.
As we all did.
Because you're not 15 anymore.
Sure.
But I can remember the one book I bought was, oh no, I can't remember it. I can't think of the title now. Darn it. It was like Skinny, can I swear?
Yeah.
It was like Skinny Bitch or something like that. Oh, I'm gonna have to confirm this.
Okay.
I'll confirm it in a minute. But there was this book and it was like, you got to be vegan. And so like even going to college, my freshman year to study nutrition, I hadn't had many courses under my belt freshman fall, but it's still, I was just being pulled in these directions of like, this is the answer. And that, you know, then I would just like go to town on peanut butter because it was vegan and it was okay to eat. But I really felt like uncomfortable with my body changing. I felt uncomfortable having to buy bigger clothes. I, in my head as a freshman, 18 years old, was like, this is bad. This isn't what my body should look like. It should look like it used to look last year. And so I would say like that's just like the lingering thought then
Sure.
that stayed around for years.
Yeah.
Like just disordered patterns of like wanting burn off the calories I ate or the stuff I drank, or, you know, maybe skipping a meal here or there. I never got into like the world of an eating disorder, but disordered eating habit, which I think also as you're learning to take care of yourself without your parents around is like also easy to fall into like
not eating well and taking care of yourself as
Yeah.
well as you should.
And so an interesting part of my story is that I think I stayed like the same weight throughout college. I maybe slowly kept gaining weight. And I then 2 years after college was over, it was 6 months before my wedding. So it's about 2 years after college. I actually decided I stopped taking some medications. I stopped an antidepressant that I was on, and I stopped oral birth control at that time. And I started a different medication for my depression. And within a month, I had lost 15 pounds. So being more nuanced in the women's health world, I know that was probably the oral birth control. I was somebody who just maintained or retained water weight because of it. But I was then able like to continue to lose weight. I ended up losing like 50 pounds without really doing anything drastic. And so, yeah, it was just like the medications change really served as this catalyst.
Sure.
Now, I was also a Beachbody coach at the time. And this is where my worth and value started being tied into how I looked again. And it wasn't all for the best, because it became, oh, you can make money now that you got thin and you have this amazing before and after picture, which was what was told to me by and stuff of like, look at, you can show everybody like what you can do with these products and stuff. And so that's when my body became a selling point of like, I have to maintain this because people need to see that
This works. Sure.
And oh my gosh, the can of worms that I could open from money, finances, and like all of that is big. But to just touch on it, that's a thought that got put in my head. And so I really just lived my life until I got pregnant then.
Yeah.
And that first pregnancy was very uncomfortable with the changes happening. 0% liked it. Did not approve. I was like, I know what's happening. People who were really positive about it on social media, I'm like, they've got to be lying. Like, this is really hard to see your body changing.
Oh, yeah.
I pretended confident the whole time. Like I say, I'm a very good fake. I can fake it. And nobody knew I was horribly depressed when I was horribly depressed, because I can put on a face and act the way you think I should act and laugh the way you think I should laugh. I just don't think any of it's funny. I was really angry for a time period there. And so that I was just like thrown off course. I didn't think I was going to struggle that much with how my body was changing. And then come to find out, you don't bounce back right after you have the baby.
No, you don't.
The majority of us.
I don't know if anyone really does. Like, and again, we've talked about this before. If anyone is touting like, oh, I'm back into my pre-pregnancy jeans, I'm going to be willing to bet the course in which you have taken to get to that has been horrifically unhealthy. Like, there may be the select few, like the God blessed women who can do that, or the women who like maybe gained the 10 pounds of pregnancy that like were in like the CrossFitters who were in phenomenal muscular shape prior to. And
Well, everybody reacts differently to pregnancy.
exactly. So it is a
and how it wants to.
very small percentage as
But
to.
I was that gross person that posted that picture at 6 months of me fitting back into my jeans for sales, to sell a product. Like, that's what bothers me.
Sure.
Is that then looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably hurt so many people. Like, there are probably moms who disliked me so much because here I am showing this picture of like bouncing right back into my body as much as I could. And it was all just so I could try and make money, which is so hard to say. So,
Go differently now.
And yeah, I think it caused me to grow a lot, but like I genuinely at the time thought other women would be happier if they could bounce back into their body. Like, I can't say that at the time I didn't see that for what it was. I really truly thought that. And it took some more years of growing to understand, like, wow, bodies change.
Sure do.
It's okay. And you will not be happier if you just lose weight. Like, there's so much work on the inside that has to happen. So happy, say it took me about 2 years to grow in that aspect of my life. And that's about the time I got pregnant again. And so I was able to walk into that pregnancy a completely different person, knowing that like I wasn't going to step on the scale. Every doctor's appointment I stepped on backwards.
Same.
And I said, I don't want to know what the number is. Thank you. You know, they'd make the jokes like, oh, it says like 130 pounds.
Yeah.
And you're like, haha, like, I know I'm gaining weight. I just don't want to know because it's not going to stop me from living my life. And my favorite thing is that my first pregnancy, I was so much more disciplined, working out, like trying to follow a calendar, keep up with drinking my shakes, like do all that stuff, like caring for my body. It's not like I was doing bad things.
Sure.
I was caring for myself, but I was just like hyper fixated on it. And then that second pregnancy, well, at first I had another kid, so he really distracted me.
Yeah.
But I also was kinder to myself and
Yeah.
understood that if I was tired, I should probably rest. You know, it's not time to go do a workout just because he's napping.
Right.
And at the end of the pregnancy, I at the hospital did say, what is my weight? I gained the exact same amount of weight with each baby by like a pound or two. And it was like, look at all that hyperfixation, all that stress you put on yourself in the first one. It really wasn't worth it.
No.
Your body is going to do what it wants to do, what it needs to do.
Right. Right.
And so then after the second one, you know, it was so much easier for me to give myself the grace of like, do not even think prior to a year postpartum that you're going to like get back into a routine.
Oh, no.
Because every time you think you're in a groove, your kid changes how they sleep.
100%.
And it's just not a thing right now. And that's just is what it is. And I very much throughout my time of early motherhood was able to disconnect myself from my worth being the way my body looked. A big part of that was probably stepping away from Beachbody and quitting that program and not being a coach anymore, and understanding how important it is to be realistic about things, and starting my own practice where that's why I started my own practice, because I started being like, this stuff doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like, this is not teaching women anything good.
Right.
It's keeping a lot of women stuck in hating themselves. And that's really where I started my own business. But so a lot of growth happened there. And then I'd say to where I'm at now, where it's like we're in that perimenopause era where it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, like I gained weight. These pants don't fit anymore. I'm literally doing nothing different.
Sure.
It doesn't cause a spiral.
No.
It's okay, well, you need pants that fit.
Right.
So like, let's buy pants that fit.
Right.
You do care about caring for yourself. So that's an important part of who you are.
Right.
It's a value you have, and that's okay. That's a value you have. So you do need to keep showing up for yourself that way. But God doesn't love you any more or less based on what this culture looks at.
Correct.
And that's something I'm really very thankful and grateful that I've continued to learn and live out and see. It really, God sees what's on the inside, not what's on the outside. And I think that can be, some people might not take that great in terms of like, oh, but you naturally look like you have a thinner body. Like you naturally like maybe don't struggle with your weight.
Sure.
So I totally understand that. And it is speaking from a bit of a place of privilege of, yeah, I there's a lot of things I don't understand, but like I've walked alongside a lot of women
Sure.
who have explained to me things. And so that empathy can still be there even if I'm like not actively living it.
Right.
But that's where I think it gets so nuanced, is like, it's one thing to listen to somebody who might look a certain way or has never had to live in a body that feels like it's betraying them. So I don't know. It's my backstory.
No, I can relate to a lot of that, and also can relate to that. Like I feel like our stories are very different but similar in the same regard. So like, even just looking at like you and I sitting next to each other, like it took me a very long time. So I have always been the person, so I'm taller, but I have always been a very muscular bound person. Like I've always carried bulk, I've always carried muscle. It has only been in the last couple of years have I found literal strength in that. So growing up in high school, in the diet culture that we grew up in, I was not the skinniest. I played 3 sports. I was very muscle bound. And so not being the skinniest girl, not being whatever, that was a part of me that had to work through that. And that was always, I would say that was probably more difficult, and always losing, okay, is there 10 more pounds for me to lose or something? And then when I look back at pictures of myself in high school, I'm like, what the heck was my problem? Girl, you were strong. Like, let that be.
Right.
And so, again, got into college, gained weight, just like 99% of the people do, because, again, I was not playing 3 sports anymore, not doing 2.5 hours of, like, cardio, which is really practice every day after high school, all of those things. Gained weight, probably wasn't eating the best, not drinking the best, not taking care of my body, and struggling with that. And then shortly then thereafter college, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. So I have celiac disease, and gosh, was that probably hit me harder than anything. And that once I took those foods out of my system, I gained weight, because my body was recovering. I was actually doing the science of celiac, so it's a malabsorption issue. I was horrifically malnourished when I was eating it. So once I took all of that out of my diet, my GI system recovered. And so then I was properly absorbing foods, good and bad.
Right.
So I went to and that was where I really led to, I went to a functional nutritionist, and he is who I like as a lifesaver to me, because he is who really helped me in eating, being gluten-free. What does that look like? And what ways you ate before may not be what's good for you now, and really taking care of your system and how much GI related things affect other things. So I've had horrific migraines my whole life. I've had lots of other things, which we then ultimately found out were related to my autoimmune disease. And really, your health is really built in your gut and what you're feeding yourself, and reminding yourself of that. But there's grace that obviously comes with that. So then I got pregnant. My first pregnancy was really hard. I had to be on restrictions. I was on lifting restrictions. I was on I basically couldn't do anything. So again, being a 3-sport athlete, I still had a lot of value in working out, did all of those things. I at that point was working full time at Children's. So I was literally chasing kids 40 hours a week. So I was in pretty good shape. And so I was put on basically like modified bed rest until 30 weeks of pregnancy. So I blew up. Like blew up. I remember even having I had a meltdown to my husband. I forget how long into my pregnancy, of just feeling absolutely hideous, feeling so unattractive, so terrible, just really not embracing pregnancy. There's some women who are like, oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Same thing. At the end of my pregnancy, I think I forget how much I gained. It was a lot, to the point, I feel like I was weighed as much as my 6'8" husband. I'm not kidding you. I blew up. I retained so much fluid. It was bad. It was not great. And so the bounce back, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't bounce back. And looking even pre-pregnancy to post-pregnancy and trying to, fit back into the pre-pregnancy genes, and that didn't happen. Going up in sizing, that I still have, and this is the morbid thing, this is a weird thing, I still have a bin of pre-pregnancy, pre-children jeans in my house.
Oh, no way.
That size will never happen. I don't know why I have them. Like, I need to get rid of that. And I am in a much better place now that I can say that. And so, like, in the last couple of years, like, I have very much acknowledged, and this goes back to growing, to having sons, to being strong. Like, I call myself sturdy. I think this is a Joe Rogan comment that he calls his wife sturdy, that she can move a couch. And I love that.
Yeah.
And I want to always be that I am strong. I can move a couch, but I haven't. It has taken me a very long time to get to that point in my life that I would rather be strong, and I want to be able to participate with my sons. My goal in life, one of them, is that I can pick them up and throw them until they're bigger than me. Then at least at that point, then I can shut off. I'm done.
Yeah.
But my goal is that I can participate with them. I can beat them. I can keep up with them and race them, interact with them, at least until they're taller than me. So I still have a little bit of time, but they're most likely, I mean, they are going to be bigger than I am. One of them's already pretty close, but it's taken me I would say a fair amount of time to come to this acceptance, and that giving yourself grace of working through this. But okay, you need to work out. You can't eat like an a-hole and expect to not gain weight. You have to take care of yourself.
Right now. You give me so much permission to just speak truth.
And but it's true though.
It is.
You can't and again, we're going into this like perimenopause phase. Like, we can't do things to ourselves like we did when we were 20. Like, that's not smart. Yeah. And expect our bodies to not change like they did then. Again, give yourself grace. And again, you can't eat like an a-hole and expect nothing to change.
Right. It sometimes reminds me of, do you ever see Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Oh, yeah.
The movie when he's learning to surf?
Yes.
And what's the guy? Paul Rudd is like, do less. And he's like telling him to like do less. And then he gets to the point where he's like, well, you gotta do something.
You gotta do something.
It's
you
like,
gotta do
so
something.
many times I get to this point where I'm like, well, we gotta do something.
Yes. Doing nothing is not.
That's not a strategy. Yeah. But this is one question I love asking clients. When is the first time you can remember noticing your body, good or bad?
Gosh.
Do you want me to tell my story?
Yes.
Okay. So I remember, like I said, I've asked this to a lot of people. So I was in 5th grade, fifth or sixth, one of the two. My friend and I were going shopping at Walmart to get matching outfits for the school field trip. And she picked a size. I don't remember the sizes or the details, but somehow I knew that she picked a smaller size than I did, and the pants fit her, and I had to pick a bigger size. And I remember thinking, I should be the same size as her. Like, why am I bigger than her? And that's the first time that I like had a little, this isn't, I'm supposed to, like, why am I bigger than her? We're the same age. We're in the same grade. Like, why is that happening?
Absolutely. Two just came into my brain. I'll give you one. Very fun fact. I used to be a cheerleader.
No way.
Hard to believe. So in my hometown where we grew up, so we had like a peewee football team.
Okay.
I cheered for 3 years for this peewee football team. So it wasn't just like a stint.
You were a cheerleader.
I was a cheerleader.
Okay.
Very hard to believe. Believe me, it's not something I tout very well. So we were getting measured for new uniforms. And again, going back to, I was taller from a very young age. And again, as we all probably did, I had a chubby,
oh yes,
a growing phase. I probably have battled my weight back and forth probably most of my life. I was 4th grade. So I was just starting to go through, like, I was an early developer, as one would say, one of the first to get boobs, 4th grade. And I remember getting measured for new uniforms for cheerleading. And I remember getting measured, and whether it was one of my coaches, I can't remember who, saying all of my measurements were bigger than all of the other girls. And imagine 4th grade. So there were some girls who were like stick figures, even to this day, are still are thinner people. And I remember sucking my stomach in while getting measured, 4th grade, and got our measurements. Our uniforms came back and mine didn't fit.
Oh.
And there's a picture. It sat on my parents' oh gosh.
Isn't it a wild memory to like dive into?
Yes.
Look
Oh,
at like the
this is a
detail.
lot to
The detail
unpack.
you're remembering right now is why it's interesting.
There's a picture, a cheerleading uniform picture that sat. It was on my parents' refrigerator growing up most of my life, and it's like one of those, like we got a like a posed one,
Yeah.
and then we got the funny one, and I'm on the side. Gosh, I can remember this like to a T. I'm like facing like sideways, right, in the picture. So you can see me in my uniform.
Your profile.
My profile. You go down, like, and the uniform changed colors. Like it was white, gold, and then at the bottom of our rib cage turned green.
Okay.
And you could see my belly pooch, like my little 4th grade chubby belly pooch in that uniform. And I was teased for it. I remember, like,
did you ever tell your mom to take this picture down?
She was one of the people who teased me about it. Love you, Mom.
Gina.
But absolutely did. But yeah, so 4th grade, I remember. So that cheerleading, like, because I was bigger than even the girls then.
And so what did that trigger in you?
It made me already
Aware
that
that you were bigger.
That I was bigger. I'm sure.
Isn't it interesting that person felt the need to say, you're bigger than everyone else in every way? It's very interesting to me that I'm like, what adult really feels like that's what they should say to a child?
To a child. To a 12. I was 12.
12. I mean, obviously we know better now.
Right.
But like, I just, even like 20, 30 years ago, can't imagine myself sitting there as a parent measuring some kid and knowing that they were.
Mind you, I was taller. I was taller than everyone, but that didn't matter. But yes, it was brought to my attention and I was very aware. And I'm sure I probably went down the slope at some points of like, oh, you need to lose some weight, all of those things.
Sorry, Erin.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
It is.
But
It sucks. But
I want everyone in the listening to ask themselves this question of when's the first time you noticed your body and what size it was, good or bad. Some people have a fine first experience, which sets them up to think that they always need to be that way forever.
Sure.
A lot of us women generally remember this is wrong for some reason. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm getting the feeling that this shouldn't be happening. So it is interesting in that. And from there, that's where culture creeps in and it tries to tell you who you are.
Right.
And we very easily forget whose we are.
Right.
And I think, again, because it's so easy to just see the images of what you're quote unquote supposed to look like.
Right.
And the diet industry is billions of dollars. Supplements. Now we're going into everything. The key is your gut health. It's your hormones.
Right.
There's always like a fad. And while I think we've walked away from like the under eating side of thing and restrictive, it's still there. It's just different kind of restrictions.
Oh, very much so.
With the promise of you lose this weight, you will transform in all areas.
And you will be happy.
And that's the lie.
That's a lie.
Because time and time again, if you do not treat what's going on underneath, you can change all you want and you're going to go right back at some point. And until you figure out, like, why do I eat this way? Why do I act this way around a certain food? Or why do I have this thought about how I'm supposed to eat or whatever it is, until you figure out like the root of like why you feel unworthy or what is at the base of it, it's really hard to change. And that's one of the reasons why I'm leaning back into my private practice of like, I want to include faith as a part of this conversation. And at my previous job, we talked a lot about, they did a great job training you on like body image stuff. And they had this body image tree that we would have clients walk through, talking about like the roots, like where these childhood stories, core memories of growing up, then the trunk of it, like what you think now, the branches of it, like what you want to think, the leaves, like your ideal. And I never talked about the soil. And I think in my head, the soil is your faith. And until you fix that or fix is a bad word, until you understand that where you're getting your value and your worth in your life, the soil, you can't bear good fruit.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's a really hard place to grow. You get sucked back in all the time. But like I said last time, like the goal, the win, the success is not in you have the best body image and you're so positive all the time, because that's never going to happen.
No, that's not achievable either.
You're gonna have a day where you're like, oh my gosh,
I feel like crap today.
Yeah, I just feel like I look gross today. It's like, how fast can you bounce back from that? And my goal is like to just help a client bounce back faster.
Sure.
Because it's okay to feel that.
Yeah.
And to say that's you're feeling right now, but it's better to say, and that just is what it is. And that doesn't say anything about who I am as a person. But I think it oftentimes people still are, it's very much tied to the worth that they bring to this world or to their spouse, or with social media being such a big thing of influencers and stuff like that. I think they often too, I'm sure they struggle with just putting like this best persona forth all the time. And it's exhausting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it does. And I think that going into this is, I love what you said about us reminding ourselves as to whom we belong to, and also that we are made in God's image and that we are fearfully and wonderfully made in his image, and that remembering that we are all made in his image and that his image of you and making you is very different than what his image that he made me in, and comparison being the thief of joy, but remembering that like, what is your image that God made you in, there's a purpose for. And the image that he made me in, there's a purpose for. And both are not wrong, and both can be accepted and should be accepted, and that one doesn't have to look like the other to belong.
Right. Like, why is it so much better, or why is it so acceptable that your brain works the way your brain does, like we talked about, and the way my brain works the way, like, everyone would just accept that. But like, why would it be any different about the way you look?
Right.
He created all of it.
Right. Exactly. And I would say, like, also it growing and getting older, I would say the grace giving one, I've gotten probably a lot better about it, of myself. And also we talk about it, we're going to talk about it too, of like not having the shame and defining ourselves in a little bit of different categories of like grace giving as to, okay, I worked out today. If that's my win for the day, I got that workout in, great. Was my nutrition 100% on point today? Maybe not, but did I try? Like,
was I present?
Exactly.
Was I making decisions and not just like
eating like an a-hole and expecting different results? So like giving grace not only to yourself, but then to remembering that grace and giving it to others too, of like not jumping on that judgment bandwagon, of really allowing yourself to be present within the realm in which you're in, and taking almost that lens view out to say, okay, what else is going on in my life right now that I actually need to be devoting better energy towards? And this may not be...
If it's taking up a ton of space in your head, then that's how you know you need to work on it.
Right.
Because there is truth that your body is a temple. And if you do treat it well, if you do eat in accordance with like how to optimize your energy or how to make sure that you're not going to have a crash later in the day, you will feel better all day, and you will be able to be a more present person with your kids or at work or whatever it is that you need to achieve. There is no denying that like eating well is linked to being able to show up better. And so it's just still okay. And then how do we unwrap the shame that can come with like, well, I don't eat well. It's like, okay, that's where you're at right now.
Right. And that's okay. And like, again, culture says fix your body, but God says your body is already good. We just need to care for it as it is his creation, and remembering that.
And that doesn't mean perfection. God never asks you to be perfect.
No, that's what
He knows
grace.
we're not.
Right. That's grace.
Yeah.
That's grace. Absolutely.
There was a quote, and it's, oh gosh, it's so terrible remembering some stuff sometimes. Because we live in a, darn it, I'm going to have to look it up too.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna find it.
So we like to have some practical anchors that, talking about shame and all those things. So what do you think are some small steps that busy moms take to nourish their bodies without guilt?
I think that we need to first stop looking at it as a big picture. If you look at the big picture, you're always going to feel like you're failing, and you're never going to be doing enough. And so if you back it up into, and this is what majority of my clients, step one is breakfast. Like, you have to eat breakfast. I understand that fasting is a thing now, and there's always a thing, but within 2 hours of waking up, you have to have something that's going to give your body energy for the day. That means it does have to have protein in it. It does have to have some carbs in it. It does have to have some fats in it. It needs to be a well-balanced meal. It can't just be a hard-boiled egg. That's not enough.
No.
We're grown women. We have to have more. We can't, I'm sorry, I can't stand cereal for breakfast. Joe loves cereal for breakfast.
Does he? I knew that.
Just can't get on board because I think it just spikes your blood sugar and causes you to have a crash in the afternoon, and then you crave food. So, like, pair it up with a protein shake.
Yeah.
If you love cereal, by all means, eat it.
Yeah.
But you have to just put, like,
there's got to be more.
Put a core power there with it.
Right.
Or something that's got some protein to try and help slow down that digestion. So I think that's number one, is like, stop thinking of the big picture. Zoom into one aspect of your day.
I love that. I like that. I would say I do better in the realm of movement versus some days. I'll say this. Some days I do better in, like, really honing in on just movement in general. And something is better than nothing.
Yes.
If it means that you take an extra walk to the mailbox to get the trash can, or if you're at soccer practice and instead of sitting for an hour, do a couple laps. Like, there are ways, even in busy mom schedules, to get little morsels. And I feel like we've talked about these, like, kind of like these little morsels of time to do certain things or to plan, whatever. But something is better than nothing.
Yes.
In movement. Obviously it's the 10,000 steps, all of those things. Sure. In a perfect world, and when there's 27 hours in a day versus 24, all of those things, and the sun, moon, stars all align, all of those things, sure. But in reality, movement, something, whether it's a 5-minute stretching while you're watching your show in the afternoon, or you are like, nope, I'm going to sit and I'm going to read my book today. Go walk on the treadmill while you read.
You actually texted me that the other week. You were like, oh, you've gotten into my head.
I know.
I'm sitting here and I want to sit and read my book on the front porch, but I know that
I should
go move while I have the time.
This is the effect you have.
I know.
This is the effect you have.
It's net positive.
Yes. So again, like you said, like, go lens in on just movement. So there's a saying, my sister and I have, like, we've done this for a couple of years now, and you would probably agree, is like, never have I ever regretted a workout that I've done. When you say, you're like, oh, I don't want to work out. But when you think afterwards, do you regret it? And then what you gain from that, tell me that you regret that.
Right.
Can't. Never have I ever said
it may not have gone as well as you wanted it to.
Sure, you could have been in a god-awful mood, and that god-awful mood could have stayed that entire time.
But you still showed up.
And you 99.9% of it, I'd be willing to say, probably felt even a scotch better after.
Right. Very much so. And I think that just the act, and I love that you say movement, because that's what I call it, not exercise.
It's not exercise, it's just movement.
Because it's like, we don't need to have a plan for everything.
No.
I know we all like plans, But sometimes it's okay if you just go on a walk.
Just go on a walk.
We're just more sedentary now, and our bodies were made to move. And I think that's something that, like, for some reason people can be like, that's, mean to be like, you need to move. But it's like,
our muscles and bones and ligaments and tendons,
our bodies work better when we move.
Yes.
If you sit and don't move and don't do things, your body hurts.
Right.
It's a sign.
I can go into a whole medical dissertation as to what all we need to be doing and move and how important it is, and then what it does to our brain chemicals and all those things. I won't bore you with those. It's super important.
A lot of evidence. Yeah.
Lots of evidence.
If you can set the small goal, like that, when I work with a client, we set 2 to 3 goals max on the first call, and they're very targeted and specific what we're doing, because you need to feel like you are being successful. You set yourself up to fail, you're not going to continue to show up.
Correct.
And so if it's that, I will prioritize 5 minutes of movement every day.
5 minutes.
If it's like you said, stretching counts.
Right.
Like, all this stuff counts.
Absolutely.
If you become the person that shows up, you really start to believe in yourself. And that's where
that could be a whole
lot of
episode.
change can happen.
Absolutely. That could be a whole episode of just talking to yourself and showing up for yourself and not breaking your word. But yeah, that's a whole thing.
I did find the quote that I wanted to share.
Okay.
I have no idea where it's from, so I apologize for not giving credit. But because we live in a created world, our bodies are a gift. Because we live in a fallen world, they might not be the gift you would have wanted. And I think that's, oh my gosh, we could really pull that apart.
We could, yeah.
Like, what does it mean? What do you mean the fallen world? I think a lot of times what also comes to mind for me is how much the enemy, the devil, like whatever you call him, wants to keep you distracted by making you focus on this so much. He wants you to think about this stuff. He wants you to think you're not good and that God doesn't approve of your body and that he's ashamed of how you're taking care of yourself. Like, that's what he wants, so that you stay far away. And that is, in and of itself, I think, important to just then counteract with the truth of, like, whose am I? It really does need to come back to that, or else this world will always be able to pull you back down.
Right. Absolutely. And remembering, again, whose am I, and where's our home?
Right.
This is not our home. This is not meant to be our home. We are here for whatever duration in which we are. But remember that whose we are and where we're going ultimately. And that's what matters. And remembering that, and that our health choices, our movement choices, those all matter. But if you come again to the soil, to the roots, to the soil of it, faith, and we were made to be like God.
Yeah. So like we said, I think this is like the beginning of like
this could be, I think, 10 episodes. Just
like 10 hours of talking about this.
Yes.
I think that it's important to, like, this doesn't fix anybody to, like, listen to this podcast. I think if anything,
I feel like we're dredging up more than
right, making you think too much about it.
Too much about it.
I think it just plants the seeds of, like, okay, I do struggle in this area. Do put a lot of thought here.
Right.
I do buy the next thing all the time.
Right.
Okay, let's take those signs.
Yeah.
Of, like, you always hop on the next supplement, next cortisol reset, all these things.
All the things.
If you hop on them all the time, like, why? And just out of curiosity, explore that. And I think that this is just like that starting point of, like, exploring something that for each person is so different and unique as to what they need to discover and really figure out about themselves.
Right. Agreed. Absolutely. Do you have a positive, or I was going to do something different for this one, but I can't remember now what it was.
Oh my gosh, I did have, hold on. Why can't I remember what my positive was? Oh, well, this one's kind of silly,
Oh, go for it.
but it was a lot of fun. I played pool for the first time at a bar.
Oh, you told me that.
Yeah. 36 years old.
That's awesome.
And Joe and I went on a date night and walked into this random place, and they were like, pool's free on Mondays. And we were like, free?
You had
Sign us up.
You had us in free.
So yeah, we played pool.
That's so fun.
It was fun, and it made me laugh. Joe was like, why haven't you played pool before? I'm like, I think when we've gone
go to
somewhere, it's like the guys were always playing and like
And then you had to play for quarters to say like you had
and
to
like
beat
I was
the
gonna be
winning.
bad.
Mhm.
So like I haven't played since like my childhood pool table.
I got you.
I wasn't good, but
Sure.
it was funny. So enjoyed that.
So my positive, this just goes back to my sons and how like, gosh, I was not prepared for them. So we were on vacation and it was our last day. And so like, again, my goals in life is that I can participate with them, be with them, do all the things. So we were in the ocean, they were riding waves, doing all the things. And for some reason, I had to get out. I had to do something. I was getting out of the ocean. And I don't know if I wasn't paying attention, whatever. However, I got whacked
Oh no.
by a wave. It tossed me. It flipped me. I have a scratch going like up my,
Oh my gosh.
back of my leg into my gluteal region, whatever. I got out of the water and both of my boys were like, "Mom, that was great. You got tossed and you got up and you're not even crying." I was like, that is how I build clout with my sons, apparently, is that I get wrecked by a wave and that they think that's super awesome.
Sturdy your way through it.
Sturdy, solid, hey, wave, you couldn't take me down.
I love that they were like, "You didn't cry." You're like, "No, it's not a normal adult reaction."
Not
to a
normal.
wave.
Like, exactly. I didn't cry because I got salt water up my nose
Right,
like you
yeah.
guys have all week. Didn't have my goggles on, all the things. No, didn't do all of that. So there's my positives. So
Yeah.
again, we thank you all for tuning in. We have not told everybody to do this the last couple episodes. So if you like listening to
my
us
gosh.
ramble on and talk about who knows what we're going to talk about, hit like and subscribe. Tell your lady friends, give us a listen. We would love to hear and
Grow this community.
grow it. And like we've been doing the last couple of weeks, we're going to end in prayer. And yeah, so again, if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but we will end in prayer. So go ahead and bow your heads. Lord, thank you for the body that you have given us. Thank you that we were bought and your son is who paid for us, God, and that through his sacrifice, our bodies and our minds and our souls were bought. And I am so grateful and thankful for your son's sacrifice, God, and that you sent him for us. God, I am so thankful for the women who are listening, and that may this be encouragement to them, and that if this hits a chord within them, God, that they feel that love and presence and grace from you, and knowing that this is where they may be right now, but doesn't mean that this is where they are forever, God. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity that you've given us, God. And thank you for your son, Jesus. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. Have a good week, everybody.